have an Ida Cent shirt on.
Right? Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's Friday night. Filing week for election 2025 in Kitsap County has finally ended. Yay.
Amen.
Um, so here we are. We have lots to discuss this evening. This evening we have a guest with us, and his name is Chance Corey. Chance, go ahead and introduce yourselves to the crowd, or introduce yourself rather. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm Chance. I'm the current secretary for the Kitsap County Democrats. I'm also an executive at large for the 26th LD, and I co-chair the Kitsap County Democrats Committee on Candidate Endorsement, Recruitment, and Training.
Oh wow, yeah, and we're gonna touch on endorsements really quick. I have a story I'm gonna share in a bit about that. So, yay! And if you have anything you want to add for candidates who might be watching, we'll come back and get that from you. But thank you for being here this evening, Chance, and I am really looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are on some of our races. So, yay! All right, Jerry, go for it.
And as usual, I'm Jerry Hebert. Um, I'm the former Washington State Human Rights Commissioner, former Vice Chair of the Kitsap County Democrats, current Secretary of the 23rd Legislative District, and also Chair of the Recruitment Committee for candidates. So, yeah, I've got multiple hats again.
Right.
But I'm really excited to have you here, Chance, so that we can get your opinion and perspective. And Hanny, as usual, it's a joy to be here with you. Thank you for keeping us going and keeping us together.
Hey, you bet. Hey, thank
On to
you.
you, boss.
All right. Hey, I'm Hanny, and I feel like I do absolutely nothing with my life now. But previously, I was chair of the Kitsap County Democrats. I was vice chair of the 26th District Democrats. I have served as a longtime precinct committee officer in the 26th Legislative District. And what else? Well, yeah, I guess that's it, really. I think that's it.
I want to. I just want to make an observation that we are dedicated Democrats. We're
Yes.
here on a Friday night instead of out on a date.
Yeah.
This is true dedication
Right.
for young people, vital and exciting as we are, to be here on a Friday night.
I'm
Right.
going out after this. Don't worry.
Oh,
Oh, good. You make it save our reputation.
Chance has got it covered for us. Yeah. So, what was I going to mention first?
I guess we should go through and see who's the new candidates, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, no, I wanted to cover a couple of things before we get into candidates, real quick, if I could. So, something that is, happens at the end of filing week is called, let me pull this up for y'all, the Certificate of Lottery Drawing for Candidate Ballot Position. And so, to tell you, the Kitsap County Auditor actually does this live stream, and you can tune in at the YouTube channel for the Kitsap County Auditor. And they literally have a bucket of Scrabble letters, and they pull one out one at a time. They write down the letter, and it's an interesting process. You can see a ton more other things at the YouTube for the auditor's office as well, but this is just one thing of many. And so if a primary is held, the two candidates receiving, yeah, it explains voting in here, but this is how the ballot order is determined in like a contested race, which letter would go first of the candidates running for a specific position. So yeah, I wanted to share that. I don't know if a lot of people know that or not, but it's just some fun little trivia that I really love. Along with that, our ballot color, there are 39 ballot colors, and the ballot color for Kitsap County is lavender. Your envelope is lavender because it's a Kitsap
Okay.
County ballot. That's my other trivial trivia for the evening.
I love that it is literally the luck of the draw because there are so many people that just vote for the top name on any given ballot, and that's
Right.
scary.
Right. So, yeah, it's really a cool thing to watch. And again, you can go check it out on YouTube. Um, Something else before we run into the candidates. I'm so excited. I believe, Chance, you contacted me when we were at like 91, and you were like, hey, listen, I hope we get to 100. That'll be great. And so when I got home from doing all my things and seeing that we actually got to 101, I was like, yay! How wonderful! We did it! I'm
And
really
we've got some
excited.
real fun races to watch this year.
Yes, we do. I mean, wow, incredible. So part of, a candidate cycle, an election cycle, a campaign for a candidate, if you will, part of that is going out and seeking endorsements from different organizations, groups, unions, this, that, yeah. Um, Kitsap County Democrats do endorsements. Of course, we endorse Democrats. We
Hopefully.
we endorse measures that are things that we support as Democrats. So what we typically do is after filing week ends, we send letters to candidates and inviting them to come and seek endorsement with us. So it's not like, hey, show up, we're just going to hand you endorsement. That is not the thing. I have seen a candidate try and claim that before. I quickly corrected him because no, that's not how endorsements work. We do like hearing from candidates and seeing what they're about, and we invite candidates to come and seek endorsement with us. And what's so cool about endorsement, Hanny? Well, endorsement means that we help promote your campaign, and in some cases, we do donate funds towards that campaign. And again, like I said, we're Kitsap County Democrats. We endorse Democrats. Um, so one year, I informed my executive board I was not going to write to any candidate that was I knew was a register. We don't have registration by party in this state. If I knew they were a Republican, I did not want to write to them. And so my board said, no, Hanny, that's not quite how you do that. We insist you write every candidate who filed for office. So I did. And one of the candidates that was running that year was Tony Stevens, who was a longtime Republican here in Kitsap County. And he was president, I guess, of the Puget Sound Patriots for a while. And he was running for a city council position, I believe. And so I had to send him a letter. And the funniest thing was that he sent me a letter back. And it was perhaps one of the nicest letters I've ever received from a Republican in my entire life. Not that I received letters from Republicans, but this was a really nice letter. And I actually took it back to my executive board and let them read it. And wow. Right, well, Hanny. Anyway, endorsements are pretty important, I think, just because, this is a way to get exposure as a candidate and make sure that people know what you're about and why you want to run for this office and what you'll be bringing to the table if you are elected. So, Chance, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Well, yeah, I would say probably, especially for the county parties, one of the biggest things that you get with an endorsement is access to the PCOs, the precinct committee officers. Imagine a whole team of people that know how to go and knock on doors and phone bank for you, especially in some of these smaller races where they can't afford campaign staff
Right.
and they won't have huge volunteer staff. Being on the endorsement ballot for the county can be a huge way to access volunteers.
Right, absolutely. That's a really good point, and thank you for mentioning that. Jerry, anything else you think I might have missed?
No, except that the difference between organizational endorsements versus party endorsements. Every organization has its own endorsement process,
Yes,
especially our unions and businesses.
right.
So it's always good to apply. If you know it's there, put in the application. A word out is a word spent on your behalf.
Absolutely. You know, one year, Adam Brockus, longtime Bremerton person, rest in peace, Adam, I miss you, invited me to the local union endorsements. And I actually got to sit and listen to candidates go through the interview process with the union, which was quite a bit different from how we did it as Democrats. And it was also an amazing opportunity to hear from candidates that I don't think I would normally be hearing from. So, yeah, that was a cool learning opportunity for me. So, yeah, definitely. All right. So, with that, I suppose we should go to the list of candidates.
Oh, Hannah, we should probably go over the difference between what an endorsement is and what an approval is.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, so thank you for mentioning that. Real quick, for the Republican equivalent, I think they do like exalted Republican and then like we see you Republican. They have better words for it than that, but I have no clue what they are. You would actually have to visit the Republican site to see the Republican version of this. All right, go ahead, Chance.
Uh,
Did I lose him?
no, no, I'm here. Um, so yeah, it is a difference in strengths. Most Democratic parties will only endorse one candidate in a race. If there is a race that has multiple good Democrats, what they will do instead will say, yes, both of these are good Democrats. We're not going to put our thumb on the scale, and they call that an approval.
Right. Yeah.
And that's probably going to be key here in a couple races that even though we like to endorse only one, that there's probably a few where we're going to end up with approvals.
And of course, remember, approvals only qualify during the primaries. We've
Mm-hmm.
got we've got endorsements again for the general.
Right.
So if we endorse a candidate that doesn't win, we've got an endorsement open for that general. So that's fun.
All right. Okay. Well, let me find my list now. 1 second.
Well, it looks like we have 24, by my count anyway, 24 contested races with seven of them in Commissioner District 1, eight in Commissioner District 3, and nine in Commissioner District 2. So it looks
Wow.
like we've got quite a few contested races. That means that we're going to be pretty busy this election season.
Right. Right. Um. So of course, our first, race, if you will, is the LD 26 state senator race, where we have Deb Krishnadasan and Michelle Caldier, and nobody else filed.
I will say, if you have not heard who the senator is because they went through that appointment process
Right.
and they've not run out or they've not run a large campaign like this, you should visit debkforsenate.com and get a little background information on who the Democratic candidate is. I'm assuming most of us that live in LD 26 know Representative Caldier because she's been serving since 2012.
Right.
So you probably at least heard the name.
Right.
And wasn't this last isn't the current senator been approved by the Democrats and actually put in position
Right.
by
She
appointment?
she served the rest of, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is now the race for the rest of the, yeah. So um I can tell you that I've known Deb for quite a few years. She's been involved off and on with the Democrats, the 26th District Democrats, and she served as a Peninsula School Board member for some time. And she is just really well-rounded, I would think, when it comes to, knowing what the needs of the 26th are, and really fighting for the constituency. And so I'm really excited to see her run. And there you have it.
It should
Anything?
be a good race. Um, she was, like you mentioned, she was the president of the school board, and she was behind a couple of the bonds that finally got some new schools built there in Peninsula School District. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Deb is really a proven person when it comes to fighting hard for the 26th. So excited for
Chance, and,
her.
Chance and Hanny, I don't know Deb at all. I mean,
Right.
I've met her once, but tell me, would she have a good vision for the future? Would she forward thinking? Um, how does she feel about our banned books?
That I don't know.
um, I'm gonna take the fifth here because that kind of information can come up in endorsements and endorsement questionnaires, and I don't want to sway anything
Yeah,
quite that large. Her platform, what she stands for, is on her website. I think that says a lot. Look at who's already endorsed her. Look at the awards that she's won. I think that says a lot for her. I'm going to let her resume speak for itself.
Good job.
thank you. All right, so moving forward, we are on City of Bainbridge Island, Council District 3 South Ward. We have Don Jano, and we have Sarah Blossom. We have Mike Nelson. So, three candidates. Wow.
We're going to have a real primary there.
Yeah.
And and council Sarah Blossom is a former council member anyway, and has a long history in serving uh, our Bainbridge Island community.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not as familiar with Dawn as I should be,
Mm-hmm.
but you're right, Chance. Those are some good quality candidates. It's going to be an interesting race.
I'm actually really impressed with the turnout on Bainbridge Island, especially with so many incumbents running. It's nice to see challenges. Steel sharpens steel. The only way we get the better ideas is to actually put them out there on the ballot.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So, I don't know why this is in this spot, but here we go.
Yeah.
North Mason Regional Fire Authority Fire Commissioner position number one, Kelly McIntosh. And again, I'm going to really encourage people that, if you have time to do a bit of homework about concerning the candidates, what they're running for, what they're standing for, what kinds of things, previous, experience, that kind of thing. Google is a wonderful, wonderful search engine. And so that brings us to
Back to the island.
back to the island. Thank you. City of Bainbridge Island, Council District 5 Central Ward, Clarence Morawaki, and Peter
Peter
Rotha.
Raffa. That
Yeah.
is going to be a significant race. Clarence Morawaki, has been a long time Democrat, long time supporter of just about any positive community effort. Peter Raffa has a long history as a nonprofit finance fundraiser. He's worked with the Seattle City Library. He worked with the museum, the Bainbridge Island Museum of Art, the Art Museum. He did money to raise money for them. He was one of the things I learned recently is that when the ADA bill was signed by Bush Jr., Peter was one of the people on the lawn of the White House when that signing was done.
Did you just
Wow.
So
say
he
the
had,
ADA bill was signed by Bush Jr.?
yeah,
Is
Yeah,
that a second one? Because I thought the
it's
88.
a it
Okay,
was a modified it was a modified one, yes.
but
But
that was
yeah,
not.
he was on the lawn apparently that day. So he's he's quite skilled in, as both of them are, in strategic planning. Both of them are great in visioning. It should be an interesting race. I encourage everybody to really look at the backgrounds for both of those people.
Yeah. All right. Next is the City of Bainbridge Island Council District 7 North Ward. We have Joe Dietz, who's the incumbent, and then we have Laura Lant.
I will say I only know Joe in this race,
Right,
and he is one of my favorite people to talk to. This is
right.
not like an endorsement, uh, but he brings a fun energy to any room that he comes into.
That
He
is
is
a
just
true
always one of the
statement.
happiest people I've ever met.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I've known Joe for a few years. That's perfect. Yeah.
Well, and I know that that Laura was a was works in the utilities and government. She's got an education from Central Washington University.
Mm-hmm.
She's worked in government for quite some time. She also worked at Lumen Technologies. She's very familiar with strategic planning. She's also very familiar with how the government operates and technically how to get things done. So she
Wow.
should be an interesting candidate as well.
Wow. All right.
I do
Uh,
think that we should talk about how the Bainbridge Island mayor works. And if I understand correctly, anybody who's running in the council here could end up being mayor next year as well, because
right.
it's a rotating mayoral seat.
Yes.
Yeah, I I'm quite surprised by that myself, but that's the way uh, Paulsville was for a long time too. So it's not
I think it's
unusual.
interesting that you have a professional city manager that comes in to step in and take care of a lot of the day-to-day tasks, so that a lot of the mayoral job is very ceremonial. Um, I think it's a cool system.
I
Yeah.
think it works good.
Definitely has helped Bainbridge Island plan better for the future.
Right. All right. Next up is the City of Bremerton mayor. And we have Greg
Oof.
Wheeler, Jeff Coughlin, and Marmon Cameron. We know all of them.
I'm
Yes,
not. Go ahead,
I'm
Chance.
excited for this race. Um, Mayor Wheeler served 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Councillor Coughlin, I think, is in his second term on the city council.
Mm-hmm.
Marwan is a longtime community builder
Right.
and a very well established member of the African American community.
Yes.
Uh, I'm real excited to see some of the ideas that come through here. I think for a city the size of Bremerton, we have 3 of our best leaders that we're putting forward here, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Same. Same.
As I said yesterday, I'm sure glad I don't live in Bremerton, so I don't have to make that decision.
Oh yeah. It would be so hard for me too. Yeah.
Well, I
I
do
won't
live in
lie.
the city, so maybe at another date, after the endorsements have come out, I'll come back on and we'll talk about differing opinions.
Yeah.
One of them will get a prized spot in the my lawn here.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Chance does have some, prime real estate for signage. Love that.
that's I'll remember that, by the way, Chance, since I've got a garage full of signs.
Right.
No,
You sure?
I do too.
All right. So, City of Bremerton Council District 1, Jennifer Chamberlain. She drew no opponent. Jennifer is the incumbent. Jennifer previously served with us on the Kitsap County Democrats. Um, her baked goods are delicious over at Heathen's Bakery. I highly recommend the chocolate chip cookies. Um,
And for those of you that don't know where District 1 is, um, District 1 is by Lionsfield and the southernmost part of Minette.
Oh, thank you. You know, I I used to live in Bremerton at one point, but if you asked me all the boundary lines for the specific districts, I get really confused, and especially when it comes to, I believe, like District 7 and Anna Mockler's District 6. I get amazingly confused about where those sit. I have never gotten that right. True
I mean,
story.
this District 7 is kind of the West Hills area and goes out around the lakes.
Okay.
And then District 6 is the what I call the Kitsap Way corridor.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll remember it that way. Thank you. So, we're up to City of Bremerton.
Christy,
Yeah?
3.
3. Yeah. Council District 3. Oh, wow. This is going to be interesting. Let's
yes,
see. We have Christy Camarada. We
yes,
we have
Christy,
Ash. Yeah. Go
you
ahead.
want me to go through Christy real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Christy has quite an experience. She's a Medicaid state-directed payment program manager for the Washington State Healthcare Authority, which is a very opportune position to be putting on the council, considering our health district. Uh, she has she graduated originally from Medicare. Let's see. Oh my God, she's just got a. She went to Washington State. She's got an extensive background in government service, identified and implemented program modifications, ensured compliance with federal regulations, including WAC and SBA updates. So she's got a great history. It'll be interesting to see her
Yeah.
job.
All right. Next is Ash Black.
Ash
Another
pretty much,
longtime community advocate.
Right.
yeah, and he has his own BCAT program, so he's interviewed a lot of our candidates, even. So he's
Right.
pretty well known in the community, and he
Yeah.
should be very knowledgeable about the way things work and who's where and who's what.
Right.
And
And
also just because we are doing geography, and I think it matters because at least in Bremerton, each of these districts represent very different communities. District 3, which is currently represented by Jeff Coughlin, is part of the downtown core. Uh, I want to say east of Pacific, which is where the theaters are,
right.
um, and Manette.
Yeah. All right.
And
And
and he also is running Doc Loves Kids.
oh,
That
he's
program is one of
with
his.
Doc, and Doc loves
Yeah,
the kids. Yeah.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that program, and
Me
they do
too.
so much amazing work for our community.
Yes. I had an opportunity to go to one of his fundraiser barbecues, and I had food stacked. I couldn't eat it while I was there, but I had food stacked, and my child was in heaven over all of it. You see the hand go up, right? Oh, he throws amazing parties, amazing barbecues, and every time I look at his page, I'm so jealous because he's like an amazing foodie. Love Doc, yes.
I love food.
Right, that
Uh,
too.
I will say that is one of my favorite things about summer is we are in gala and formal season. Um, I'm going to throw out a quick plug. The
Yes.
26 LD Democrats are having their annual fundraiser on June 14th. Um, find me if you need tickets. I will help you find the information there. But I love a good formal sit down and a good formal meal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of amazing people at a 26th district dinner. I mean, there every year I see people I have not seen in a long time from within the 26th. And it's like, hey, it's family reunion week. And so many amazing people throughout our district come, and it's just it's a wonderful evening. Couldn't agree more. um, the next we covered Ash Black, so we are at Michael
Michael.
Simons.
Yes,
Jerry,
Michael.
you said it would be really helpful with the Medicare. I'm going to talk on Michael for just a minute. He is a local realtor, and I know that he's been involved in some of Emily Randall's campaigns. I've seen him at a lot of events over the years. You want to talk about one area I think Bremerton could really use some help in, getting our real estate and our building codes back up to where they need to be so we can build more to face the housing crisis. I think that's an excellent set of skills to have for the next city council member.
Right. And
I
remember, Jerry, we met him. He was at Greg Nance's town hall, and I had a
right.
really good conversation with him about one of the questions that he had posed to Greg. And I learned so much about state law just listening to him and how it applies to just your local Bremerton. And I was seriously impressed, I have to tell you. There
Every
you
time
go.
I've talked with him and his husband, I always walk away from the conversation learning something new about either local or state law.
Right.
And I know
Well,
a lot.
and that's one of the things that I admire is he's had some great skill in his sales. He understands neighborhoods. He understands the economy. He understands how it all works. And you're right, Chance. This is the kind of individual that we're going to need some vision from to handle our homeless process problem. And we've got so much new construction going on and so many things happening. It's going to be good to have that skill aboard.
All
We're going
right.
to talk about the homeless problem for just 1 second. I want to
Yeah.
throw another big shout out
Yes.
to Representative Simmons and the rest of the crew for getting some money for the South Asian Army to build that new facility that will have some beds for the homeless as well. Big
Yay.
win for the county, big win
Yep.
for Bremerton. Thank you, Tara, if you're watching.
All right. So that brings us to City of
District
Bremerton
5.
Council District 5, Michael Goodnow. He draws no challenger. He is the incumbent.
I mean, I love that for him. I
Yeah.
also love that means um, the guy who ran against him last time isn't going to get as much spotlight. And I'm intentionally not mentioning him
Right.
because he loves to show up everywhere I am anymore.
Right, right. All right. Um, let's see. So we are to City of Bremerton Council District 7. Um, Rick
And I'm
Tift.
out of luck.
What?
I'm out of luck.
You're out of luck, what?
I didn't have a chance to pull up the rest of the information.
Oh, no, you're fine. Rick Tift previously
It's
ran for Kitsap County, the
Public
P.
Utilities Commission.
Yes, exactly. He ran against Heather Pauley. So that's how I would know him. I want to say that he worked at the shipyard for a long
I
time.
want to say he was an executive at the shipyard. He
Right,
was high ranking at the shipyard.
right.
I don't remember exactly where at but I knew it was top tier.
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I will say, both of these people say that they're Democrats, but it's awfully interesting that the Republicans are giving up the only seat that was held by a Republican on city council without throwing anybody in the mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm going to reserve comment. That's what I'm gonna do. Um, so
next week we'll tell all.
right, yeah, buy the book, kids. The next person is Matthew Baptiste Serra, who's running in Council District 7 as well.
He's a
So,
high school teacher. He started this campaign out um, by stumping quite a few of us on the executive board.
right,
He asked us if we knew anything about collecting signatures instead of paying a filing fee.
right,
And we all looked at each other and went, huh? So we
right.
had to do some research. And even though some things popped up and he did file traditionally this round, we found out that You can collect signatures. They have to be verifiable. They have to be in the district,
Right,
and you have to collect one signature for every dollar of the filing fee.
right. There you go.
So that's
Another
just a
piece of
really interesting.
great
I thought it was a
trivia.
really cool grassroots. I'm all about grassroots, hit the pavement
Yes.
kind of candidates. I think that was a really cool way to start out his campaign. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be an interesting race too.
Yes, definitely. So, yeah, there you go. More trivia knowledge. So, the next thing is City of Irvington Municipal Court Judge. We have Steve King and we have Tom Weaver.
Um, you know, I think you guys talked about this on Wednesday.
Right.
I watched the show all week, obviously.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Um, it's hard to figure out judicial candidates.
Yes.
Um, it's going to be hard for us, even as endorsement panels, to figure out candidates.
Right.
I'm so glad that the incumbent didn't make any endorsement panel consider them. I look forward to hearing from both of these gentlemen and seeing what they have to offer for the future of Bremerton's court. Hopefully, it can get back on more stable footing and we can stop having our court in the news as much.
Right, definitely. So, previously we had questionnaires that were specifically geared toward judicial candidates because of judicial canons and, what a judicial candidate can and can't answer. We still have one member who actively gets up and says, I'm not voting at all on this every year, and she's the one person who has a very, I can't remember what her argument is, but it's a very interesting argument as to why she does that. So
Jerry, you're muted.
here, we can't hear you, Jerry.
I'm sorry, my dogs were barking, so I thought it'd be better.
Okay.
uh, yeah, her reasoning makes good sense. I'm tending to lean towards it as well. We can't ask any substantive questions that help us to identify a judicial candidate's particular take on the law, and
I
that's
will say,
kind of
given some recent
frustrating.
events, I am very pro an independent judiciary, and I can appreciate a judge not wanting a political endorsement from either party because there's, three branches of government. Each of them have their job. A judge is not there to write law or to make law. A judge is there to interpret the law and the words that are on the paper and not to put a political spin on it. So I wish, other people had studied the three branches of government and understood the separation of powers. But also, you can't see
And in
this, but I am
reality,
wearing an RBG I dissent shirt. So
Chance, I gotta contradict that just a little bit, and that is that how a judge interprets that law, what their ideology of that law is important. And I am seriously disappointed that our state doesn't allow us to ask those kinds of questions. As frankly, we get someone like I don't know, can I think of an example, Thomas, on our Supreme Court? I mean, it's obvious that judges are an issue. We have concerns with judges at every level simply because we don't control them as well as we should. We don't even have the ability to interfere when an elected official of a specific party makes an appointment. I mean, we have no input in that process. So in those areas where we do have the ability to vote, I think we need to take a serious look at how we do that and how we manage those candidacies. It's important that we know these answers.
There you go. So, it will be very, I am looking forward to like eggs and issues and the League of Women Voters, and seeing candidate forums and seeing what they do say. So yeah, I'm really excited. I am definitely 120% excited for candidate forums and eggs and issues this year. Last year I think I really kind of blew it off. I was like, meh, I could never remember the time. The one time I do show up, um, yeah, I sat there for 5 minutes. I sat with Larry Sequist, and we had a great conversation, and that was it for Eggs and Issues last year. But this year, boy, I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So we are now moving on to Port Orchard. Council position 2, John Morrissey drew no opponent. Um, City of Port Orchard Council position 3, Scott Diener drew no opponent. Council position 6, Fred Chang, the incumbent, has an opponent. There is a challenger there. Her name is
Sarah Deadman.
Shira Deadman. And I am very excited to hear more about her. I got to do just a little bit of reading, and I'm very excited. I didn't really get to read much. That's for after the show, but
I will say Fred is very active on social media, so he's
yes.
always fun to watch what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, like Hanny said, I'm looking forward to learning something about Shira because so far I have not had um, an opportunity. Unlike a lot of other political activists, I have a regular 9 to 5 job on top of all of this.
Right?
So she just
Surprise!
filed today, so I have not had a chance to look into her.
Right. What do you know? All
That
right.
damn 40-year plan strikes again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure it's the 40-year plan, but I do call it the keeping the lights on and the roof over my head plan. It's a great one.
Absolutely. The next city of Port Orchard is council at large. J. Rosa Pepe is the incumbent, and
No.
what?
Rosa
Okay.
Pepe?
So
J.
he is currently on council, but he's not currently the at-large member.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I'm sorry.
they did a little swappy swap here, and
Okay.
there's a fun random trivia.
Yes.
Uh, at large is the only one that is elected by the whole city of Port Orchard instead of by an individual district, but it's also the only one that carries an only 2-year term. So
Right.
individual districts are elected for a 4-year term. At large is a 2-year term and the whole city votes.
Wow, I
Hmm.
did not know that. I live in unincorporated Port Orchard, so we don't get to vote for any of that. Um, I know that there are many fellow Port Orchard people who are not happy about that, but Port Orchard is, city limits are so far, and if you're out in Southworth land, yes, you are unincorporated. Kitsap County, yet you have a Port Orchard street address.
I
Yay!
will say it's been very interesting. There's a lot of speculation about why the switch, because the person who is currently the at large is running in the seat or for the seat that Jay formerly held. Um, and it's an interesting swatch. And yes, Jerry, that's what a lot of us did when this came out.
Right.
So there's a lot of I don't know interesting why things are happening. And I will say, back to Hanny's point about people living in cities but not really living in city limits,
Right.
um, I will say that is a conversation a lot of cities need to have. Bremerton stops going east at Lowe's, and then all of that is also not really in Bremerton city limits.
Right.
And I love hearing people complain about the roads in Bremerton when they really mean the roads in Kitsap County.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to find out just how limited the city of Paulsbo city limits are. They're, I mean, I've got a Paulsbo address as well, but nope, um, can't vote in
And your road
Paulsbo election.
sucks.
Yeah, my road sucks.
Sorry.
It's surprising. It's only basically the downtown area and the very small
Oh yeah.
area of Paulsbo, which makes these seats a lot harder to really manage and to get quality candidates that are not part of the system. It's long time. I get a little frustrated when we've had the same candidate in the same seat for the last 40 years and have done little or nothing but maintain average status quo. So it's we'd love to see these cities like Ballsbo expand their voting to at least cover their zip code.
And I'm going to bat for the cities here. A lot of the time, that is not up to them. Uh,
Mhm.
it has to be an agreement with the state for it to be an urban growth area to start with, and then voters have to choose annexation, and there are some tax implications there too. On the other hand, I also see a DEI argument. If you can't afford to live in the city limits, are you being systematically quieted and your voice cut out because you can't afford to live in the city limits, even though you work and for all other purposes live in the city?
Right.
That's a very
Real quick,
valid.
Jerry. DEI being diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, Jerry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that. I was just going to say I agree with Chance 100%. It's an interesting discussion. It's an interesting question, and I do believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a serious concern. It's almost like redlining. It's almost the same thing. Only we're doing it with our politics, saying you can't afford to live here, you can't afford to vote. It just doesn't
Yeah,
seem fair.
All right. Continuing on, we are now to the city of Paulsbo. Speaking of, uh,
Yeah,
timing, we are at mayor, and there's Dan Whedon and then Ed Stern running for this position.
and Ed Stern is incredible. He's also fully endorsed by the outgoing mayor. I guess she's really excited to have him running. She's retiring. Becky's
Mm-hmm.
been there for a long time and has been
Right.
really great for the city. So Ed has not only been extremely successful as a council person, he's very excited about taking over the mayor's job. He's been the vice mayor, or what is it,
A
the
deputy
uh,
mayor.
associate mayor or deputy mayor. I knew
Right.
I'd think the term eventually.
Right.
He's that other one.
The
You
other
know,
vice
one.
he's
mayor, associate
yeah,
mayor,
he's
deputy
he's the
mayor,
other mayor.
whatever the one that says second.
um, so I'm looking forward to seeing this. I don't know enough about his opponent Dan, but I do know that I think everybody I've had conversation with is behind Ed, and he's really what the city needs.
All right.
I will say I got to have a fun conversation with Ed at the Kitsap Dims Gala last weekend. He's
Right.
very excited for this race. I live in Bremerton now, but I did grow up at Island Lake in Paulsbo. Um, well, outside of Paulsbo, to your point. um, I don't know Dan Whedon, but I know that Ed seems to think it's going to be a fun campaign. And so hopefully that means both gentlemen come to the idea with some ways to change Paulsbo for the better.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yes, he does.
All right. So next up, City of Paulsbo Council Position 5, Michael Fitzpatrick. And then
Kevin
challenger
Sheen.
is Kevin Sheen.
I'm at a loss in both cases.
Same. All right.
I think it
Next.
is interesting, and I think I'm just going to note this quickly that
Right.
council position 5 is currently held by um, Ed Stern, and it
Okay.
is the only council position being challenged. The other incumbents are not facing challengers in Paulsbo.
Ooh.
Hey,
All right. Um. So we're at council position 6, Doug Tabor, and then council position
Gary.
7, Gary McVeigh. Gary McVeigh, having previously been endorsed by the Kitsap County Democrats, I believe he was additionally endorsed by Kitsap County Democratic Women as well. Don't quote me on that though. I I don't know, but I do know that we, as Kitsap County Democrats, previously endorsed him. That was the summer of We're All Hot and Dying at Eagle's Nest. So, hmm, yeah, that was an amazing summer where we all sweated to death. But we were Democrats and we showed up. Before we get to Bremerton, I think that I want to mention really quick that if you're a candidate, if you're watching and you want to hang out with us and talk with us about your campaign, we would love to hear from you. Write to me at Hannie, HANNIE, at joesdiner.com, and let us know. We would love to hear from you. So, all right. With that, returning to our
School
list.
district.
Mm-hmm.
Position 4.
Right, for
Hotly
Bremerton.
contested. This is the seat currently held by Ali Rotter, who is not seeking re-election.
Hmm. Real quick, knowing that, I want to thank Allie for her years of service to the Bremerton School District. I remember when she first ran for the position way back when. Um, really excited for her to run and to be elected. And thank you, Allie, for all your hard work and, serving Bremerton School District. All right.
One other thing as we get into these school district races,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of going back to that filing fee we talked about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
um, these are some of the hardest working elected officials you're going to meet.
Right.
I will also say that a filing fee, according to the county auditor's website, is about 1% of that position's annual salary.
Right.
And if you notice, school board members don't pay to file. Yes, people, these are literally people who are volunteering to stand up in front of you and have you yell and scream at them for
For
free.
free.
For free.
Yeah.
And some of them have been yelled at quite a bit. But that's another
Actually,
story.
I think it's being used as a therapy method.
Oh, right. Oh. Um, let's see. So, director position 4.
There
Um,
are 4 current candidates.
right. Chris Worthen, Jenny Farley, Shannon Turner, and Jason Skifstad.
I will say, so I used to work for Bremerton School District as a substitute.
Okay.
I still have lots of friends that do.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked into several of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've heard good things about Chris Worthen. Um, that he's well known and people know who he is.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, I know who Shannon Turner is. I think you both do. In that,
Right.
um, I currently serve on an e-board with Shannon. Great guy. Jenny Farley. Have had a harder time looking into her. A little bit less there, and then well, I'm going to assume that Jason wouldn't file for endorsement with the Kitsap County Democrats.
Oh, that would be correct.
That'd be correct.
100%. Yes, it would. Hi, Jason. All
I
right.
do want to, I will because you can't, I will take the opportunity to say something about Mr. Turner.
Oh, go
Um,
ahead.
I have I have served prior to this time with Shannon on the executive board for the 26th or 23rd legislative district Democrats, and I've worked with him personally on quite a few things, including my own development. He helps me frequently in identifying race communications issues and helps me to determine whether or not I am exercising my best self. And he's dedicated to his family. He's dedicated to his daughter, and I tell you, the man is truly a community spirited and a viable candidate. I can't tell you enough about him personally. I find him to be an amazing man. He's put together our dinners and done volunteer work in this
Right.
community all over the place, and he's very reliable. And I think he's a good choice.
All right. Hey, thank you for sharing that. We're going to move on to, let's see, Bremerton School District Director Position 5. Ah, all right. So,
And
candidate 1 is Ben Anderson. Candidate 2 is Linda Osborne Simpson. Candidate 3 is Mary C. Devery.
Every
Okay. And then, yeah, there we go. We have 3 candidates.
I will say there are some fun things going on in this race.
Yes, there are.
One, Mary Devery was registered in the position 4 race.
Right.
Obviously, she looked at candidate filing and figured I'd rather be one of 3 instead of one of 5. So some very astute political maneuvering.
Yes.
In a lot of districts, she wouldn't be able to do that because seats on school boards are normally done geographically.
Right.
Bremerton has open districting. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody that lives in Bremerton School District bounds can run for any of the seats.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting thing here is Ben Anderson was recently, I want to say in February or March, appointed to fill the rest of this term. And
Okay.
so he's obviously running for election and for a new term. Um, and I think that's interesting. So no matter who wins in either of these races, we will see a good chunk of the school board be brand new or with very little school board experience. Speaking of teaching experience, I will also forfeit having worked for Bremerton schools. Mary Devery is a longtime eighth grade English teacher at Mountain View Middle School in Bremerton. She is retiring in June. Is really important because you cannot work for the school district and serve on the school board,
That's correct.
but it also means she has a lot of inside knowledge as to what is going on in the school district and has some expert opinions or thoughts about what the school should be changing. She's also a longtime friend of mine.
All
I'll
right.
forfeit that.
All right. Hey, thank you. Jerry, before we go on,
yes, sir.
before we go on, I need to tell you a story.
Uh-oh.
I need to
I
tell you a
love this
story.
story.
So you know the big everybody wave the signs, scream bad things at Tara. I get a camera shoved in my face that afternoon, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I remember
so
now.
I saw Mike Simpson, and I walked right up to him and I said, "Hey, tell Linda hi. You know, I've asked him, hey, how is she doing? He has said nothing to me. And now there's Linda Simpson running for school board.
Hmm.
Hmm. That was really
For
rude of
those
you,
of you
Mike, to
not
not
in the
tell me
circle,
that maybe Linda was going to run for something. How rude of you. Ah, it's okay, Mike. We good. All right.
uh, Mike
Yes.
Simpson is a former Bremerton City Council member and
Yes.
definitely has that big R next to his name. I think if it were possible, he'd probably have an M next to it. That's just not an option on the ballot yet.
Right. So, Linda, how I know Linda
Yeah.
Simpson is she was previously vice chair of the Kitsap County Republican Party. So, but as far as anything concerning this position, I would know nothing about it. So I'm very interested to see Linda on the campaign trail. So there you have it. And
Love
Mike,
contested races. I love, you know, there's a lot of education that shouldn't be partisan. Getting
sure,
the proper education for kids in the 21st century instead of 1950s is should not be a partisan issue. Now, I know
right,
that there's a lot of minutia there that ends up being partisan, but I look forward to we have lots of really heavily contested school board elections and steel sharpens steel. Let's get the best ideas out on the mat. Let's get
right.
the best names up there to run our districts. Our
You,
kids deserve the best.
they do.
Yeah.
I do have to add something about Linda, and I'm so sorry, Linda, that I forgot to mention this. So please forgive me. Um, she is very thorough in researching things and really good with data and things like that. And she is just such a whiz and really how do I want to put this? She is very passionate about things and is very just wow. I will give her that. So again, excited to see what Linda will bring on the campaign trail. And with that, let's just move on to Bainbridge Island. Director, Bainbridge Island School District, Director District 2, we have Erica Borg. And then we have Director District 5, Jill Anderson. And then we are to North Kitsap School District. And real quick, I do want to mention, this is the third night that I'm going to mention Terry Schumacher. Woo! She will be meeting with me and Jerry next week about the North Kitsap School Board candidates. And I'm sure she will have lots of insight to share. So be looking for that upcoming next week. Looking forward to hearing from Terry. She's an amazing person with a lot of information. So don't miss that if you're a North Kitsap person. All right.
She's definitely one of my favorite people.
Right.
She has an energy about her too, and she just always so something intelligent to say to the conversation. And I love
Yes.
people like that.
Yes, and I've had her speak a couple times at meetings, and she's an amazing speaker as well. So, yay. Hey, Chance, can I have you announce the North Kitsap School District Director, District 1 for me? I need to get a drink of water.
Yeah.
Thank
Um,
you.
so there are going to be four candidates for North Kitsap School District, District 1. Again, I'm excited for a packed field. I've heard from several North Kitsap families how unimpressed they are with the current board. And so, as Terry put on one of my posts earlier, the community really showed up to write that. So for District 1, there's going to be Seth Hartman, Edward A. Wright, who is the incumbent, Late Leighton Thomas, sorry if I butchered that, and Deborah Strahan.
All right.
Uh, I will say,
And
other than
once
knowing
again,
that Ed is the incumbent, I have not had a chance to look at them. I also plan to have a meeting with Terry
Yes.
to look over these candidates and to get a little bit more background info.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, thank you. North Kitsap School District Director, District
three.
3. We're at 3. Um, the first candidate is Melissa Dingman, and then Miranda Joyce Smallwood, and Tiffany Greathead, and Timothy L. Rovick.
I will say there is an interesting feat to this race.
Uh huh.
Um, you know, School districts are, especially North Kitsap here, is done geographically.
Mm hmm.
And every once in a while, that means they have to realign their borders. Um, the incumbent in this seat was redistricted out of their district.
Wow.
So all four of these are new names on the ballot.
Wow. So North Kitsap's going to be one of those districts to really, really keep an eye on this selection. There's a lot of candidates there.
Well, and we only have two open seats on the council, so there's only the downtown and the
Uh,
Suquamish
well,
seats available. So they are geographic. So it's
oh,
got to
okay.
be, yeah.
All right. Cool, cool. We're moving forward to Central Kitsap. And Director District 1, Denise Tracy. There is Robin Martin as well. And then for Director District 2, Mark Gaines and Jason Sipple. And for Director District 5, Eric K. Green and Darren Beach. Central Kitsap, y'all.
I'm gonna have to
Woo!
learn a lot about what's going on there.
Yes, same. I have a friend I call. I haven't called him for a while, so this is just my perfect reminder to call him. He's very well versed in who's on the school board and the candidates running for school board. So I really look forward to hearing what he has to say about
Are
the
you
current
are you
candidates.
are you talking about Drayton by any chance?
I'm talking about who?
Drayton?
Oh, Drayton. I love Drayton Jackson. Yeah, I could call him as
We should
well.
have him on.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I, I always have a great conversation with him. He is just so happy.
And I admire him. He's done some amazing things in our community. He's made a
hmm
real significant difference. So I'd be thrilled to have him on to talk
He,
about the Central School Board since he served on it.
right, yeah, that would be great. We'll have to get a hold of him. All right, so we are to South Kitsap School District, Director District 3, Brian Pickard. I will save all of my Brian Pickard stories this evening. He is running unopposed. And then for Director District 4, Andy Brandon is also running unopposed. I plan on catching up with one of my friends who is part of the South Kitsap School supporters to hopefully learn more about Andy Brandon. I believe he's the incumbent, but don't quote me. So,
I will, you're saving your Brian stories, but I'm not. Haha.
okay.
I will say, well, since he's unopposed, I don't have to worry about too much with the endorsements. Um, I, used to be a teacher. I did work at South Kitsap High for a while. Uh, I think you said it the other night. One of the key reasons in uh, that Brian isn't pulling a challenger here is he knows that community.
Right,
When my nieces and nephews were at South Colby, he was the principal there. When I worked for South Kitsap, he was an assistant superintendent. He retired because you can't work for the school district if you're on the school board. And now, he wanted to take on what's going on in South Kitsap from the other end of the boardroom, leaving the assistant superintendent and becoming a school board member.
right.
Um, I, you know, a lot of education associations, teachers unions would not be happy with an administrator moving from being an assistant superintendent to running for school board. Uh, but I will say everything I've heard from SKEA and the community, they are loving this decision and they're loving the work Brian has done.
Absolutely. 100%. Thank you. Let's see.
Andy, District 4 now.
I believe is also the incumbent.
Right.
Andy Brandon.
Yeah.
And it's
Um,
impressive because this school board has turned around quite a bit in the last several years.
That's
And
the
at
truth.
one point, they were quite non-functional, and they've
Right.
accomplished quite a bit, which may also speak to why he's not drawing a challenger.
Right. So that moves us along to Bainbridge Island Fire Department. Commissioner position 2, Bruce G. Allward, did not draw an opponent. Commissioner position 3, John D. Lanoy, did not draw an opponent. Commissioner position 4, Fritz von Ibsch, did not draw an opponent. So we
You're going to
move
get
on.
used to saying those words, aren't you?
Right? And
Ipswich,
Center Kitsap Fire and
Ipswich.
Rescue, Commissioner Position 2, Guy Earl. No, no opponent. Central Kitsap Fire and Rescue, Commissioner Position 4, David Fergus. And then there is Christy Sheffer is also running in this position. There's an opponent. Yay!
It is interesting. A lot of these commissioner positions have technical knowledge that goes with them that kind of limits the field.
Right.
So please don't think that we're not out looking for candidates to challenge incumbents. Know that it is just a very limited pool to draw from.
Right.
Um, but it's interesting to see that one of these races is being challenged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, South Kitsap Fire and Rescue is going to be a very interesting department to talk about. There's a few challengers there, if I recall correctly. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Let's see.
Both of them races.
Yeah, Kitsap County Fire Protection District number 18, Commissioner Position 2, William Bill Whiteley, drew no opponent. Commissioner Position 5, drew no opponent, Daryl Melton. North Kitsap Fire and Rescue, Commissioner Position 2, Patrick M. Pearson, drew no opponent. And then North Kitsap Fire and Rescue Commissioner Position 3, Chelsea Tate, drew no opponent. Hey, Chance, gonna call on you again. Do you want to read through South Kitsap?
Sure.
Thank you.
I swear I'm not just looking off to the side, I'm trying to follow along too. Um, South Kitsap Fire and Rescue Commissioner Position 2, we have a
Can
contested
you get me
race
some water? I
between
am really
Terry
thirsty.
Lerma
Soda, water,
and
something? Pretty
DW
please?
Dusty
Am I
Wiley.
not dying?
South Kitsap Fire and Rescue Commissioner Position 5, we have a contested race between Chad Stanley and Paul Golnick. And I'm going to have to reach out to some of my firefighter friends to find out a lot more about those races and see what they have to say about them because I am not used to having fire races contested that heavily.
Dusty Wiley is the incumbent in one of those races. I know him only because I've lived in South Kitsap forever. But yeah, I have a friend who's a current commissioner that I want to reach out to as well, and find out more about each candidate running for that. So excited, of course. Could you read the next one, please?
Sure. The Port of Bremerton, District Number 1, or Port of Bremerton Commissioner District 2, uh, Gary K. Anderson is running unopposed. And then the Port of Illahee, I love that there is a Port of Illahee. Commissioner position number 3, Bradley
Can I
Tinbrink,
just have a soda or
is
something?
also running unopposed.
I'm
I will
having.
say I'm a little bit surprised here that the Port of Bremerton did not draw a competitor. As far as commissioners go, the port commissioners are a little bit
Yeah.
more standard political figures. Uh, those technical skills I was talking about are not as important for those races. A lot of those are business development skills that you would want in a regular politician anyway. I am This one is geographically confined to part of downtown. So that may be why Mr. Anderson is not drawing an opponent. But I think I have seen the Port of Bremerton commissioners' races get very interesting over the years. And for those of you that don't know, the Port of Bremerton controls everything from the ferry terminal to the airport.
Right, like out where I live, out here, this area is Port of Bremerton as well. And then there's Port
Yes.
of Manchester too. But out here towards southward, it's all Port of Bremerton.
So is the downtown Port Orchard. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why there's not a Port of Port Orchard, other
Right,
than saying Port of Port Orchard may not be the most fun thing on earth. But
right,
downtown Port Orchard waterfront is part of the border port of Bremerton.
right.
And that may have to do with federal tax dollars and where the ports are located geographically to get federal contracts.
All right. Hey, thank you for carrying on for me. I was having a moment of where I was really, really thirsty. It was amazing. So, I believe we are up to North Mason. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So the first North Mason School uh, School Board Director, District 2, Leanna Krotzer. I've actually met her before. And I believe, she's the incumbent. She's been doing a lot of good things. Have nothing bad to say there. I think she does a great job as the school board director. And I've actually talked to her about that before, so good luck to her. The second one was School Board Director, District Number 4, Nick Thomas. I know nothing about. Apologies. And why do we have North Mason in here? I don't have an exact answer for that exactly. Do you know anything about that, Chance?
I would have to look at the district bounds, but just because it's called North Mason School District doesn't mean that the actual population um, stops at the county line. Belfair has moved further north
Mm-hmm.
as more and more houses have been built. And so, as those houses have been built closer and closer to the county line and over the county line,
Mm-hmm.
um, those families may have been included in the North Mason School District instead of the South Kitsap School District.
Oh, wow, okay.
That would be the only thing that makes sense to me.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll have to. I guess I could check with the auditor maybe about that. I think so. We'll
Yes.
get back to you on that one. Now we have the small ports. The Port of Keyport, Commissioner Position 1, John Enriquez, and there's no opponent. The Commissioner Position 2, Ellen L. Ross Cardoso, no opponent. Port of Kingston, Commissioner District 1, Steve Heacock, um, no opponent. Port of
Opponent.
Manchester, District Number 10, Commissioner Position 2, Paul Dross. And Paul has an opponent. Her name is Alexis Pappas. Um, I got a chance to look a little bit, but I am excited to hear from her. Um, I love seeing young people running for office. I am stoked for this. I don't live at the Port of Manchester, but I visit it often. So yeah, I think that'll be fun to tune in for. Position 3, Kevin J. Holst, drew no opponent. Porter Paulsbo, Commissioner Position 1, Jeff Bile. Um, And then for Silverdale, Port of Silverdale, Commissioner District 1, Caleb Reese. Has an opponent, Marcus Hoffman. Oh, this is getting a long list. Wow. Port of Silverdale. Oh, wow, there's another. Kristen Fabry.
Christian Faber.
Yeah. Port of Tracyton, Commissioner District 3, Adam McCourt. Port of Waterman, which Waterman is between, it's like past Annapolis when you're driving out towards Manchester. It's like Annapolis and then Waterman. Um, Commissioner District 2, Jeffrey L. Akoba. And then the Kitsap County Sewer District, Commissioner Position 1, Alicia Arter. West Sound Utility District, Commissioner Position 1, James J. Hart. Manchester Water District, Commissioner Position 1, Robert Ballard. North Perry Water District, Commissioner Position 1, Stephanie S. Marone. Silverdale Water District number 16, Commissioner Position 2, John R. Poppy. And then we are now to Park and Recreation Districts. And I just want to say that, wow, some of these, wow, what do these people even do? Why would I want to vote for them? What is this? What is it? Yeah, why? Who are they? What? We've mentioned the ports. We've mentioned water districts. We've mentioned sewer districts. I mean, these are services that we have as people here in Kitsap County. Jerry, your thoughts on all these small positions?
I Are you referring to the Island Metropolitan Parks and Recreation?
We haven't gotten there
Is that
yet,
what you're
but
concerned?
yeah.
Okay, 'cause, yeah, the water districts are still important. I mean, those smaller taxing districts are the ones that directly affect us individually. I
Hmm.
mean, they set our records, they set our rates, they set our standards. These are our neighbors. We really should know them because they're affecting our everyday life. So it's kind of important that we get to know these junior taxing districts, as we call them. I say taxing
Yes.
my mortgage payment. Yeah, I want to know you.
And see, I always say at the top of the ballot is where everybody focuses, but the lower on the ballot you go, the more likely they are to have a direct impact on your life. Are you mad
Exactly.
about your water bill and the spike that you're getting there? These are the people in control of that. Are you mad that your parks aren't taken care of? These are the people in control of that. Are you mad about how your port area, your boating area, your docks are taken care of? These are the people in control of that. So, as far as everyday life services you need, city council members are literally the ones writing the laws for the city.
Right.
Mhm.
So
That's, I
yeah.
think, one of the important things that we fail to recognize is that no matter what association you're a part of, no matter what party you're a part of, you're serving your community. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, independent, doesn't make any difference. We need to know our elected officials that take care of our taxing districts. We need to know who they are, and you should really take the moment. It doesn't take that much time today's day and age to just take a quick look, see what they when they're meeting, and go meet them, have a cup of coffee.
Right.
It's it's really important
And as Hanny pointed out earlier, Google is your friend and free.
and free.
Oh
I
yeah.
like that free. Boy, do
Yeah.
I like that free.
Woohoo! Another thing too, I when we go back to maybe attending meetings, I actually went and attended a South Kitsap Fire and Rescue meeting with the commissioners one month. And I did that because I knew that the levy was coming up and I wanted to hear more about it and ask questions. But I did go. I sat through the entire meeting. It was really informative. I got to ask questions of the commissioners. So that, it's a really valuable experience, I think, if you're really interested in knowing exactly how local government works for you. I
And I'll
highly
tell you, I've
recommend it.
known a couple of fire commissioners. Their job is not easy. They
No.
are involved in everything from emergency medical care to building facilities to water. I mean, you name it, they have some piece of it.
Right.
Hard job, but good people in it.
Alrighty then. We're to Park and Recreation, starting with Bainbridge Island Metropolitan Park and Recreation, Commissioner Position 1. We have Melissa Timmy. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. We have
Yeah,
Rachel Pritchett.
Mhm.
Yeah, those
that's
are
the
the two for
those are
Commissioner
contested race.
Position 1. And then there we go. Commissioner position 3, John T. Tom Swalgard. And then Village Green Metropolitan Park District Commissioner position 2, Tracy Darlene Harris.
And then turn the page.
I know. Thank you for saying that. Um, we have Commissioner position 5, David Trailer. And it says
Okay, so
advanced to general. There you go. And we're
ooh, that's
done.
neat. Um,
Yeah.
so Village Green Metropolitan District. I know a lot of these districts and where they are geographically
Oh,
because
good.
normally they have lovely things like Bainbridge Island in the
Right.
words there that tell us.
Yes.
Is Village Green Paulsbo?
I thought it was
No,
Kingston
Kingston, Kingston,
in stereo.
Kingston.
Yeah.
It's yeah, the village green is the home of Littletown, our famous Fourth of July Littletown. It's
Is that
quite
where the
fun.
oversized lawn chairs are? The big wood
Yes.
ones? Okay.
It's
It is
a
hard for me to think of Kingston as like a town. I'm used to it just being a two-lane road that leads to a state ferry, but it
Right.
definitely has grown
well,
up.
We're sorry,
and
Kingston.
it's not really a town yet. It still isn't incorporated. We're still just part of the county. So it's
Well,
We're
fun.
sorry. But yeah, for years I thought of it as the 2 lane road to get to the ferry. And hey, there's the bookstore on the left, and there's the
the crepes.
McDonald's to the right, and you just, trot on down, get on the ferry, and have a good day. But I went to a town hall in Kingston it was like a really beautiful community center, really large room, lots of people there. Wow, I had no idea. I was like just aha or something. I wow. Yeah.
I will say
I've
the
owned
Port of
property.
Kingston hosts my favorite Christmas light display. I love when they light up the little park next to it with all the different scenes. I just think that is so cool.
Yeah.
I've lived in Kingston for God years. We've owned property there, and it has grown and changed a lot. I know our Parks Department, the Village Green group, is trying very hard to make a walking downtown that's comfortable for everybody. But boy, we've changed that downtown so drastically. Now we've got some classy access to the beach and the waterfront right off the ferry that we never had before. So
Right. There's a
um,
beautiful little
there's lots
park
of
on the
good,
dock too.
yeah,
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 yeah.
lots of good stuff
Um,
happening.
Shout out to the Grub Hut. Woohoo!
Yep,
Sourdough Willie's is up there, which I hear is one of the best pizzas ever in
I thought
Kitsap.
Sourdough Willie's was in Suquamish. Did they move?
I don't know. I thought they were in Kingston. Maybe. I don't know. Wow. I heard they were in Kingston, but yeah. But still, I mean, there are some really good businesses up there in Kingston. And it really, it's not just that two-lane highway to the ferry. So, mm-hmm.
Yep. We have some restaurants that are off the beaten path too,
Yeah.
that are really some great food. You got to go on an adventure, explore, see what's here.
Right. And the bookstore, I believe it's Village Bookery. Yes. The
The
bookstore is
creperie,
amazing.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's the best place in town, that creperie. I love crepes and they do a great job.
you got to
Ah.
get there early in the morning
Yeah.
because that's the only time you're not standing in a line.
All right. Well, hey,
No,
any last
we
words?
have to, I'm afraid I have to get a move on. Are we just
Yeah.
about we're done with candidates? I don't want to exit early, but
Right. No, no, no,
we've been on
no.
this quite a while.
We got to get going. We've been here for a bit. Hey,
So do we
so
have appointments for next week that you want to announce? Do you want to
we
set our
will
next
be
appointment?
we will be hanging out with one Terry Schumacher. We will be doing that.
What day, do you know?
No, not yet. So stay tuned.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Uh, stay tuned.
The,
Yeah, I said that.
the only
Um,
note I have is Monday is going to be a fun day. It is the last day to withdraw from any race.
yes.
So we'll see if any of these numbers change out a little bit.
Right, right.
Lord, it's going to be a busy season no matter what.
It correct. Absolutely. All right. So, any last things? Last
Nope.
things. All right.
I'm just very excited. I hope everybody is. We're going to have a great election year this year, getting ready for the big midterm.
We
Get in the
are.
habit of voting now
We
so
are.
that at midterm, how to do it.
Thank you so much to all our new subscribers. I'm so very excited. Um, and well, hey, happy Friday. Have a great evening and see y'all later. Bye.
Get to your night out, Chance. I've got to go and
Yep.
find my date so I can
Thank you
go out
so
too.
much, Chance, for coming.
No problem. Anytime you
Bye,
guys need.
y'all.
It was great having you here, Chance. Thank you.